Market we get a chicken stock in two different form. One is a liquid and one is powder form, and we have a variety of brands available. If you wanted to use those chicken stocks to make your chicken soup, you can go ahead, but in order to make a very healthy, flavorful chicken soup, you can make at home a freshly homemade chicken stock for your chicken soup. Hello, I'm Madhura. Welcome to Madhura's Desire, and today we are going to start making a basic chicken stock for our chicken soup. Main ingredients of the chicken stock is the chicken bones, and I have taken a chicken carcass and cut it into small pieces. So basic rule of the making a stock is, and especially with the bones, you need to remember that how long you're going to boil the stock, and according to that the cut sizes of bone has to be defined. So I have taken 550 grams of chicken bones and I have cut it into small pieces, and this is the sizes, and we are going to boil this stock for 3 to 4 hours. So that is the actual cooking process of this chicken stock. So I have washed them and tried to remove the most of these impurities from the bones, and now we are going to do the blanching of the bone. So the main purpose of blanching the bones before making the stock is to remove the impurities from the bones, which will help us to avoid the stock get clouded. But prior to blanching the stock, now the second step of making stock, the second main ingredient is our mirpua. Mirpua is nothing but a aromatic flavoring vegetables. So in a stock we don't add a strong flavor vegetables, but in mirpua generally we add white onion, carrot and celery. So we are going to cut those vegetables and we will going to add it for a flavor to it. So for the 550 grams of chicken, I have taken 100 grams of white onion and 50 grams of carrot and 50 grams of celery. Actually the ratio always for the mirpua is 1:1:2. So 2 is your onion, 1 is carrot and 1 is celery stick. So now here we are going to cut it according to the cooking process, the hours what we are going to take it. So if we have a longer hour, our vegetables should be little bigger on sizes too, which should be like a 1" to 2" on a size. But if we are making a stock which is not going for a longer time, like a fish stock which is really required for 20 minutes, for that we require a small diced of vegetables. And here we don't require exactly uniform size of vegetable cuts, we just require a coarsely, but at least they should be nearly uniform, so it will be also easy to extract the flavor from the vegetables. So I'm going to show you how to cut all these vegetables. So just celery, you need to go for the 3 hours. I think it's like a 1/2 inch, like this way, and then we go for the carrot, the same thing, 1/2 inch, and then onion. So you don't need a really uniform size, so just coarsely cut it. Third part of making stock is here to add some flavor to the stock, so which in our culinary term we call a bouquet garni. Bouquet garni is nothing but a sachet of or a pack of spice which is we are going to tie up in a muslin cloth and we will add it to the stock. So here I have taken 1 bay leaf and 4 sprigs of thyme, freshly thyme, and just half tablespoon of black peppercorn, and I'm just going to add it on a muslin cloth. So I have taken a muslin cloth over here, and I will just add it all of them, and I will just make a small pouch, or you can call as a bundle. So this is what I'm going to do it like this, and here we are going to tie with the kitchen twine. So it will just, when we are going to put it in a stock, it will extract its flavor, and it will be easy to discard. So that's why I have put it in a string, and we will just drop it in stock and we will just take it off. So now we are going to start preparing the stock. So I'm adding up the bones. Okay, and now I'm going to cover with the cold water. So we need more water to it. So you must be wondering why I'm adding the cold water to it, because the cold water dissolve more easily the impurities, and if you start with the hot water, it will get retired, and it is very difficult to extract the impurities. So always we have to start with the cold water. So let's bring it the boiling stage to the water. So we will bring the water to boil. So as the water hits, the impurity will be solidify, which is a coagulates, and then we are going to rinse entire bone, and then our bones will be ready for the stock. So you can see over here the water is started boiling, and all the impurities are coming on the top. These are the rising on the surface, the impurities. Okay, so now we are going to throw this water, and I will give a cold water wash, and nicely I will rinse the bone, and then our chicken bones will be ready for the stock. So now in this stage we will completely discard, and we will give a nice cold rinse to the chicken bones. So as you can see over here, the chicken bones are very much rinsed, and now we are going to add 1.5 liter of water, which is cold water. So the reason we have to start with the cold water process, because the extraction speeds up in a cold water. If you want to use the hot water, the process gets delayed, and some of the proteins, they don't get soluble in hot water. It's a very easy, they get soluble in cold water. So always we have to start the stock with the cold water. Now we are going to bring the water to the boil. As you see, the water is started boiling. At this point we will reduce the heat, and we will put it in a simmer. Every interval of time we will try to remove the scum from the surface to give a clear stock. And now we are going to add our mirpua, which we have cut it already. And also we are going to add our bouquet garni, and let the stock get simmer for 3 hours. And if you feel the water is getting reduced, we will add some more water into it, but not too much, just to cover the bone. Otherwise the bone will expose to air, and then it will be darker in color. So we don't want the brown stock kind of, we will just want it to have a white chicken stock. So let it simmer for 3 hours. So you can see it's almost 2.5 hours, and the stock is almost reduced to half. So you can see that the heat is in very low simmer stage, and you can see it's almost half is reduced and very slowly the stock is getting cooked. And now I can see that the bone is little bit exposed on the surface, so I'm just going to add it up, just 1 cup of water. Okay, because we have another half an hour to boil the stock, so I'm just adding up little bit, just 1 cup of water. Okay, and let it simmer again for another half an hour and our stock will be ready. You can see it is very much clear, there is no cloud, so I have skimmed out couple of impurities which came, but it's not much, but your stock looks very much clear. So let's simmer another half an hour. Almost 3 hours is done. Our stock is very much ready. Now I'm going to take it out from the flame and then we are going to strain the stock. So I have put a bowl over here with the strainer and also muslin cloth, and with the help of a ladle I'm just going to pour the stock and I will strain it very slowly. So I have strained all of them. Let's see how our stock looks like. So the stock is very clear. You can see there is no impurities inside. Once the stock is ready, we need to immediately chill down the stock under the running cold water, or you have to make the ice bath. Otherwise the stock will get spoiled within 6 to 8 hours. And when it is getting chilled, we need to continuously stirring so it will be cooled down evenly. Otherwise it is a very best place for breeding of bacteria, and that might be a cause us for the foodborne illness. Once the stock is chilled, you can only keep the stock for 2 to 3 days. That is the only shelf life in a refrigeration temperature. But if you're making a bulk portion, because if you are using regularly chicken stock for the soup, so you can make a bulk portion of stock and you can freeze it in your freezer and you can use for several months. But today for our recipe we are not going to refrigerate or freeze it, because I'm going to use it immediately for the chicken soup. So the chicken stock is ready. So the next process is making chicken soup. So I'm going to make a creamy chicken soup with the vegetables. So I'm going to add some carrots, celery sticks, onion, green peas. If you don't want to add those things, it's up to you, but I like to have my creamy chicken soup with the vegetables. So I'm just going to show step-by-step process how we are going to make it. So I'm adding up just 1 tablespoon of oil and let the oil get hot. Just 1 clove of garlic which is finely chopped. And 1/4 cup of white onion. Just give a quick saute to it. So onion is become little translucent. Now I'm adding a 1/4 cup of small diced carrot and 1/4 cup of small diced celery, and let them sweat till they get little soft. Now I'm adding just 1 teaspoon of chopped thyme, which is fresh. If you don't have fresh, you can just use the dry thyme. And just give a quick saute. Now vegetables are also softened. Now we are going to make directly roux with the vegetable itself. So I'm adding a 50 grams of butter. So let the butter get melted over here. So the butter is melted. Now I'm adding a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. And we are just going to make a roux with the vegetable itself. We are not going to make it a blonde roux, which is going to make the soup very brown. We will be we will keep it as a white texture of the roux, but we are not going to brown it. We have to be very careful while we are making the roux. So here the roux is ready, the flour is almost cooked. Now I'm going to switch off my heat. Now I'm adding the chicken stock and little bit, and I will just give a quick mix to it. Now I'm going to follow by all of the stock which we made yesterday and give a gentle mix. So whenever you have a hot roux, you have to use always the cold stock or room temperature stock. If your stock is hot, then you need to use the cold roux. So it will to avoid the lumpiness in the soup. Now I'm going to return back to my heat. I will just switch on my stove and I will put it in a simmer and let the stock get slowly simmer with the vegetable for just couple of minutes. But consistently keep stirring to the stock. So we have used almost 3 cups of stock which we got from yesterday's stock which we made it. So the outcome was a 3 cup, that is 750 ml. So we have already added the 750 ml of the stock over here. Now we are going to add another 2 cup of milk, which is just 500 ml. And let the soup now boil, but make sure you should have in a medium low, and every interval of time just keep stirring into it because it's going to get thickened. If you are not careful, the soup will burn from the bottom. So you can see here the soup is boiling and is getting thickened because we have added the roux. Now at this point I'm going to add some seasoning. So I'm adding just 1 teaspoon of salt and I'm going to just check it. I'm adding a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Let's mix it. Let's check the seasoning. I think I need some more salt. Please be careful when you are adding up the seasoning, you need to keep checking. And I'm going to put my soup in a simmer now. It's almost thickened. This is the right consistency. At this point I'm going to add the chicken cubes which I have already cooked. I have boiled the chicken breast, and you can also boil one chicken breast and add it to the soup. If you don't want a chicken cube, you can make it shredded. So here I'm just adding 1 cup of chicken cubes. Now I'm adding just 1/2 cup of cream to it, and followed by that I'm going to add it just 1/4 cup of green peas. And my soup is already on the simmer, so we'll just let it sim the soup for just couple of seconds. Be careful, always check the seasoning and keep stirring. Our soup consistency is very much ready. So this is the right consistency of the soup, and this is how I like my creamy chicken soup with the vegetable. It's really very creamy and very beautiful color with all the vegetables are just crunchy. My cream of chicken soup is all ready for service. It's really delicious, and I can still feel the aroma of thyme is coming out from the soup. can serve it like this. And I would like to have my soup with some crunchy croutons. And like to decor with some parsley. So this is how I'm going to serve your soup. Whichever way you like to serve, you can go ahead. So now time to taste the soup. As I say before that I always love to have my soup with the crouton, and that's what I'm going to do it now. Yes, I can have the crunchiness of the crouton, and I have the bite of all the vegetables which is still crunchy, and the best part is what it has a full of flavor of chicken, and also aroma of thyme is coming out from the soup. So please do try making the stock at home. That is the best result it gives. If you buy from outside the supermarket the stock, there will be a little bit of difference between homemade stock and commercial stock. So please do try making at home for your chicken soup. And not only that, this chicken stock can be used of making sauces as well. So this is one of the basic method of making chicken stock. So do try, and please let us know how your chicken soup has turned out. And eat healthy, stay healthy. See you soon.